The United Nations celebrates Chinese Language Day every year on April 20th. It helps promote the use of Chinese worldwide. In the US, some 400,000 people were learning Chinese in 2023. Ted Chu is a Mandarin school teacher. I spoke to him about sharing the language and about cultural traditions like the Spring Festival. Ted, tell us about the significance of Spring Festival.
Well, this is one of the most important Chinese holiday in the Chinese history. It has almost 4,000 years of history, and it offers the core values of the Chinese community, including the family reunion, honoring the ancestors, respect to your neighborhood, and togetherness.
So you are a Mandarin teacher. How do you help your students learn more about Chinese New Year? What elements do you bring into your classroom so that they can take part, whether they're Chinese or not?
I can talk a lot about that, but there are basically two ways. One is more likely the decoration. For example, currently in my classroom, I already put up the Chunlian, the red couplet for the festival. So they can learn some characters like spring, like celebration, like festival. And also they got Hongbao, the red envelope, time by time. The other way is more like on-hand activity, interactive. For example, my colleague and I, we organized two almost become the tradition of the Chinese program. One is that they're gonna have a field trip to the Smithsonian Asian Art Museum, followed by a dumpling making activity in the local Chinese restaurant, followed by a karaoke singing contest in Chinese. And then around the time of the Spring Festival, we're gonna do, inspired by the CCTV Spring Gala, we're gonna have our own gala, all like a temple fair. So students gonna have the opportunity with the parents to do the dragon dance. Once was in cathedral, once was in auditorium. And also we do a lot of folk art performance instruments from the Chinese artists, and also some bubble tea.
I mean, that sounds like a pretty fantastic
Yeah.
holiday period, very traditional. What kind of response have you seen from your students, especially ones, this is maybe not their first time or second year or third year, knowing that this is a special time?
Yeah, they love it. I would say the most popular things among all these activities are the dumpling making and the karaoke singing. But also they love to learn about the zodiacs, because we have 12 zodiacs, and every zodiac associated to a different personality. And if you're really good at the cycles of that, you tell people's age by knowing their zodiac sign. So those are kind of things build a bridge between their current understanding of the culture and the Asian Chinese culture. So that's also a fun part to do. And also, they love the white rabbit candy, which is my childhood memory. So I have to restock it every year, but I keep the case. So that's part of they love food.
I mean, who doesn't love food? And then dumplings for sure goes across so many different cultures. Each region has its own dumpling. We are in the year of the snake. So what are the characteristics? What have you told your students about the year of the snake?
That's a very good question, because when I was learning the zodiac signs as a student in China, I feel like every zodiac sign almost represents similar things. For example, prosperity, hardworking, deep thinker, intelligence. But also, snake is a little bit different for two reasons. First, snake has two names come to the zodiac sign. One of the elder in my family, her zodiac sign was snake. She never said, I'm a snake. She always said, I'm a little dragon. So that's one thing. The other thing is snake represent longevity in Chinese culture. There are many Chinese traditional arts has a snake and a turtle in the paint to represent the longevity. I think partially because snake sheds skins, and that represent the renewal or reborn.
How can studying a language like Mandarin, for example, build bridges and bridge cultures among different people?
Oh, that's a great question, because when we are learning a language, we're not only learning the character and the phrase. Through the idioms, the set phrases, the characters, they see the culture, they see the legend, they see the history, and they see the food behind it. For example, using the Spring Festival as a main theme, which we did every year, when they are learning the dumplings, they learn the story about the famous Chinese doctor Zhang Zhongjing and his invention about the dumpling, putting it as a medicine to help the poor people to prevent them from the frostbite in the wintertime. And when they are learning about eating fish for the southern area of China, they love the idiom called 年年有余 because 鱼 means fish, but also a homophone for surplus. So they see the hope of agriculture civilization to looking forward a new beginning of the year. And also when they're learning, for example, 团圆, the reunion, they see the enclosure of the character, and that structure represents the passion and the hope of the Chinese people for the family reunion.
So adding to that, why do you think cultural exchanges are so important, especially for your students? What are some of the biggest benefits you see in them as they've been doing this and learning more?
Like you mentioned earlier, it builds a bridge between the students and the Chinese culture. And when they are learning the language, they see the reasons behind the language, the culture, and the civilization. And at the same time, it opens a door for them to become more diverse and to become more open-minded and less stereotyped. And also, today's world is a deeply interconnected world. I think a cross-cultural communication is more important than any time, and it will be extremely beneficial for their personal and maybe professional growth in the future.
Ted Chu, 新年快乐.
新年快乐.
Thank you.
Thank you.